Hey, what's up, you guys? You're watching Team APS. Paul here.
Alec here.
And Alex.
And in this video, we're going to be talking about how Yu-Gi-Oh! Has changed quite a lot.
Since 2002
to 2018.
A lot of things are different. It is not the same card game, I think we can all agree.
Not even close.
It's basically hitting puberty.
And so we're going to be talking...
This is an awkward time in its life.
We're going to be talking about the 10 things that feel the most different from, the old age of Yu-Gi-Oh! To the new age of Yu-Gi-Oh!
From your Dark Magician to your Firewall Dragon.
Right.
Can I start?
Yes.
Number 10, the way we buy cards. Look, it's different.
Yeah. I feel like back then, I bought packs.
Yeah, I bought starter decks, not structure decks, starter decks, and I bought packs.
And for the most part, we were all kids, right? So how do you convince your mom or dad, hey, I want a box? And retail price, it's $90.
Buy me 200 cards, Mom.
That's the thing, because, buying packs, that's what it was all about. One pack at a time.
Yeah.
You got, one pack if you wrote, for me at least.
And you didn't know, necessarily what the set order was. So, you just see a bunch of different colorful packs, a bunch of different monsters.
You just pick your favorite one.
Yeah, and the thing was, too, it's the cards themselves all just had so much value. It's a pack of 9 cards. This is 9 new things. Nowadays, it's just kind of just get a box, tear through them until you find hollows.
Yeah.
It might have been just because, hollows were maybe more rare at the time. I don't know.
Who knows?
Buying boxes felt different. And I feel like really just opening the packs felt different,
Yeah, because before they had that old card smell. When
Old
you rip that
Yu-Gi-Oh
pack
smell.
open and just took
He's
a whiff.
always talking about that.
Old Yu-Gi-Oh smell is actually the best. Have you actually smelled an old Yu-Gi-Oh pack? Just 2003
How would
era?
you
Sure, I'll just pull one out my back pocket.
How would you
Pulls
compare
out
it to
Metal
new car
Raiders.
smell?
I feel like it's new car smell. It's actually
new
like that.
card spell.
But seriously, I think that the packs did have more of a secret factor to them.
Well, like we said before, there were more rarities. You could find anything could have been in that pack. Nothing was guaranteed.
I liked the fact that when I went to Walmart, it was Metal Raiders, Blue Eyes, Legend of Blue Eyes, Magic Ruler, and whatever the other set was, Pharaoh's Servant.
And what does that even mean?
And it's to me, it meant nothing. It's not oh, what's the most recent one where I need to pull the chase card. It's just I get the one that's my favorite color.
Yeah, the very first pack that I opened that I knew what was inside was Legacy of Darkness. Before that, I didn't know what was going on.
And there were more normal cards. So cards had flavor text. It was just an exciting time.
Yeah, I just loved reading those things.
Oh, yeah, because packs only had maybe one effect monster each, and it was 5 vanillas.
You were lucky to get an effect monster.
True that.
And some equip spell that gave your monster 200 attack.
We played Yu-Gi-Oh in different places back then.
Schools,
Playgrounds.
Backyards.
Schoolyard. Also, we played on any surface too.
Yeah, the pool.
Wooden.
Were you playing in a pool?
I wanted the field power bonus. Is that?
I played on gravel.
Do that?
Wooden benches.
I played on grass as well.
Yeah, I think we all had to play on grass a few times.
And I feel like these days, if you want to play, you just can only go to a card shop.
That's just how it's done now.
That's what you do. Why would you play outside when there's no one else to play with?
Wouldn't it be awkward if you wanted to play Yu-Gi-Oh? You had to relive your glory days. So you went back to your old elementary school, found the corner you used to play in on the yard, and just played there.
Did anybody ever
That'd
have
be
Books a
creepy.
Million? Did you guys have Books a Million in your area?
We actually didn't.
Didn't have one nearby. We had to use Toys R Us.
Okay, we had a store called Books a Million. Viewers, you might have heard of it. I don't know.
If you read books.
And there was Yu-Gi-Oh tournaments there every Saturday, and I'd always beg my mom to take me. And it was such pure wholesome Yu-Gi-Oh. People were just on the floor just playing everywhere.
Crazy question. Did anyone actually read the books?
No.
I remember going to our first Yu-Gi-Oh event at Toys R Us. We showed up at the tail end of it, and when you got there, you just saw kids sitting on the floor, trading cards, trying to duel without knowing the rules. It was great.
This older kid sharked us for all our valuable cards.
Yeah, but then he gave us so many cards in exchange we could actually make decks.
A bunch of comments and we didn't understand what that meant.
We were able to make decks, okay?
With random comments.
We couldn't make decks before that point. Okay.
I think the next big thing is there was way more Yu-Gi-Oh merchandise. I don't know if it was because it was a time when it was more of a pop culture phenomenon.
They were marketing for us to force our parents to buy them for us.
But
That's true.
I would always find a random Yu-Gi-Oh shirt.
Yeah, there were Yu-Gi-Oh socks.
There were Yu-Gi-Oh stickers,
And like toys and things like that.
folders, notebooks. I actually forgot about
I
that.
actually did see those. I saw those.
I remember Rouse's. I don't know if Rouse's is everywhere. I don't think it is.
doubt
But it's a small grocery store chain. But I remember there was a Rouse's back home that had Yu-Gi-Oh, like the Yu-Gi-Oh temporary tattoos.
Oh.
I don't know if the
Oh
people
yeah,
who-
it's like the ones you put on like
Yeah.
they peel off in like 5 minutes.
I don't think people even knew what those were, but to me, I was like, that's awesome.
Yeah, I just feel like, I mean, Duelist, right? I remember when Duelist first showed up at Walmart, and it was like $30.
Yeah.
And now, you know what a Duelist costs on eBay? I don't.
You know, Yu-Gi-Oh was also easier to teach to your friends back then.
Very much so.
It was a simpler game.
It was a game that you could just enter. You just had some cards. You could
Yeah.
summon a monster.
Did anyone else ever take like a 40 or a 50 card deck and just like cut it in half and just like give it to a friend?
Yes.
Yes.
I done
We
that
did
a
that
lot.
actually for
It
sure.
was such a simple thing to explain. Monsters, spells, traps.
And I mean, like, yes, you kind of made up your own rules as you went, but I feel like just understanding, attack points, defense points.
You didn't need some crazy in-depth strategy to play.
Fast forward to puberty in 2018, Master Rule 4.
Now that the game mat's not even the same game mat, and that's.
Yu-Gi-Oh has evolved.
And I mean, I don't mean to like put in a whole like nostalgia goggles. It actually is hard to teach people how to play Yu-Gi-Oh! Like
Yeah, it's
right
like,
now.
so can I fuse and make my monster? Well, no, you already have a monster in the extra monster zone. So if you're gonna do that, you need to link these two monsters together. Wait, what? Yeah, link these
Then
two
you can
monsters together.
summon to the arrow it points to.
No, wait, resolve their effects when they go to the graveyard, float this, search this. Now you can do your next fusion, fuse these two together, and put it in your new zone.
And by the way, if you make two of these link monsters that point to each other, they're co-linked.
But if they don't point to each other, only one points to them, and they're just linked. And that's different than co-linked.
Exactly.
It's like Jesus.
But
Christ.
if you can form a chain that makes a little U shape, it's an extra link.
Yeah, like I remember as a kid, if someone came over and said, "Ooh, this looks fun, I want to play," I would cut my deck in half, give them one half, and we'd start playing.
Exactly.
And you know why? One of the reasons why that was so much easier? Because the game was actually linked to the show back then.
That is another difference.
For the most part, if you watched the show, you had an understanding, a flawed understanding, but an understanding of how this game was played.
Yeah, and like you could always kind of just recognize like famous cards, like Monster Reborn. Like characters use that, and like Pot of Greed,
Yeah, true.
Celtic Guardian.
Like I agree. I mean,
Is it Celtic or Celtic?
Ooh.
Yugi's
Point
a
of contention.
Celtic.
I thought it was Celtic.
Is it Celtic or Celtic? Let
I
us
always
know.
called it Celtic, but maybe I'm just wrong.
There really is a disconnect between the anime and like wanting the cards these days, and not just because we're older. Like, I mean, do kids like watch the show and really buy because of it?
Lynx came out far ahead of the Vrains anime, so that's
Yeah,
a
that was
disconnect right
definitely
there.
Yeah, that's true. But you watched Arc 5 around the same time you got really into your Odd Eyes deck. Do you think that maybe watching Arc 5 made you want to build Odd Eyes?
Actually, yeah, I would think.
So maybe it's still there a little bit.
A little bit, but not with Vrains because they went and
Yeah, Brain's timing's a little bit weird.
they timed that all the way around.
Now, a bit of a left field turn, and kind of a bittersweet memory as a kid.
Uh-oh.
Fake cards.
Oh, God.
Does anybody remember fake cards?
Our aunt went to New York and came back with an entire box of fake cards.
And the weird part was, the cards were relatively legit. They had the right art, the effects were almost right, and the colors were almost right.
The names are abhorrent.
Whenever I had experiences with fake cards, there was one kid like in middle school who had a big plastic bag of them. He like traded them to me for some money. I don't know, something. And like whenever I remember fake cards, the effects are always crazy. Like take one magical like destruction spellcasto and like your opponent's monster loses 500 offensive strength. Like it would just always be like very
That you
Equip this card to a magic monster.
magic monster. You mean a pendulum?
Oh, well, I guess
they're
so.
foreshadowing. And truth be told, I mean, I think it's just because there was like less information. Like, yes, we were all kids, but you also just didn't know like how to recognize a fake card. Like, I feel like as a kid, I just saw it as like, oh, that's just like a different kind of like Yu-Gi-Oh card or whatever.
And I had a friend who traded like 5 of his pretty nice cards. I think he had like a magician deck to get his hands on what amounted to a sticker of Dark Magician Knight.
I remember fake God cards and all this stuff.
Oh man, they were prevalent. I remember I risked or ruined the entire school day when I got a kid to trade me, you know, that the old Slifer, and I heard he wanted the trade back, so I was ducking him and hiding the entire school day, hiding in stalls. I skipped recess. I avoided this man with all my power.
Was this life or fake?
It was
Well, no,
real.
it was a real Slifer.
And
Oh,
he
okay.
seriously did that.
I
remember that day very well.
And I escaped, but he caught me the next day.
No, you didn't escape. Remember, he caught you at the bus line before we got home.
Oh, did he get me that the same day?
Same day.
The next big difference is the internet was like kind of non-existent in like 2002, 2003 Yu-Gi-Oh.
At least to me it was. I didn't know the internet existed back then.
Well, back then it was dial-up.
I mean, most people didn't have access to it. And there wasn't like this whole, WiGo Pro where you can test decks or...
Yeah,
Leak sites.
there wasn't a whole database with tips and effects and all this nonsense.
And like WiGorg just posting like
So
leaks
basically,
and news and like all this stuff.
it was really like the Dark Ages back then. You didn't know what the overarching plan for Yu-Gi-Oh was.
You didn't know what cards were worth. You didn't,
Yeah, like I don't feel like there was as much of a... Like, I mean, a metagame has always existed in Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yeah.
But it's compared to now, like, where it's so widely known and there's no excuse for you not to know, like, every ruling and every card interaction and strategy.
It's literally in the palm of your hand.
Yeah, like, nowadays, I mean, you got your smartphone, you can keep up with all these rulings and stuff, but I feel like back then, that's probably where, like, the fake cards and, like, all that, and the fake rules all came from.
Misinformation, because who was going to correct it?
Yeah, like, who's gonna judge it, right?
Yeah,
Like,
who had any more evidence than you did?
Different age groups played between then and now. Which, funny enough, that was us. We are the two age groups.
Well, Yu-Gi-Oh was so focused at the beginning, right? It had a specific age group it targeted, and it did it extremely well.
And then followed us until we became adults.
Yeah,
It's definitely it's definitely trended upwards, I would say. I mean, I think that they still want to market it to kids. They just like
Definitely.
don't do it as well.
It's...
I mean, what do kids do now? Do they play like other card games?
I think kids
Hearthstone?
They still play Pokemon, I believe.
I believe kids use like the Twitter and
and
the
the
tweet and the,
yeah, and they like
the cyber.
they use the Twitter to like snap each other on and chat.
Yeah, on their
That makes
twit
sense.
book. I mean, I don't know. I definitely think that kids back then, it was like kids and teens. Now it's more kind of like young adult. They want to say it's
young
kids, but I don't think it's
and
kids.
then the upper adults, too.
Konami really needs to adjust the way they target children now, because the children of now are not the same as when we were young. You can't use the same tactics, and they're not even using the same tactics. They're not pushing anime properly.
Yeah, the anime's not getting a dub.
I say a lot of
Wait, it's
properties...
just not?
Really?
I mean, maybe it is. I mean, it hasn't gotten a dub yet.
They'll have to market it specifically to kids to get them to know about it.
I mean-
but otherwise, adults are going to play.
Kids like Duel Link. Wait, do kids like Duel Links?
I think.
People like Duel Links.
Man, we just really don't know what kids like.
We're so old.
We're just like Konami. To cap this off, let's talk about how public perception of Yu-Gi-Oh has changed.
It is very similar to the kids' problem, I think.
Yeah. On one hand, Yu-Gi-Oh is more accepted as like a thing that exists in life now. Because remember, as kids, you were the losers and nerds who played Yu-Gi-Oh.
And now you're the losers and nerds who play Yu-Gi-Oh! Wait.
I mean, I would say that the big difference is, even though like kids who, I think like as kids, it was such a phenomenon, like such a kind of like big cult popular following that like it was nerdy, but like everyone liked it.
There was
so
a
much.
collective of nerds.
I remember going to school, not having any friends yet, but I took out my deck, and another kid took out his deck.
And everyone knew. Like everyone knew what that like. It's like Pokemon almost was.
And when you're playing Yu-Gi-Oh, you were safe because you were surrounded by a bunch of other nerds. The popular kids couldn't get to you.
Yeah, you erected a mirror force between you and the
Oh,
buildings.
Alex, that just got
Oh,
worse.
dear God. So that concludes our 10 things we think have changed the most in Yu-Gi-Oh over the last, 15, 16 years.
If you can think of anything else that you've noticed over the lifespan of Yu-Gi-Oh, go ahead, drop it in the comments.
And if you love the video, hit that like button.
And subscribe.
And if you haven't already, hit the notification bell, join the squad.
It's gonna be it. We'll see you guys in the next video. But first, remember, check out our sponsor, TCG Player. Some cool cards.
And ink playmats.
Use the code APS10 for 10% off anything on the site. Alright, it's actually the end. We'll see you guys in the next video.
Pass turn.